Welcome back to the channel. This is my Divine Pandemonium LUFENIA Plus run, and I want to talk about the strategy that I use to help other players that are still struggling and beating the stage, because I felt that this was one of the hardest stages that I've played in Opera Omnia. And now whenever you attack in the very beginning, no matter what you use, whether it's a skill, call, or AA, the boss will attack with Tornado Zone Divine, and you cannot stop him from doing this. Now you can see here that it does a substantial amount of damage, but this is where I want to stop the video and talk about the strategy that I used. First, I want to talk about how to control the orb. The orb can be increased by 10 when the boss's turn is deleted, and not to be confused with delayed. Deleting means that the turn is completely deleted from the screen, where delay, you're just setting it back a certain amount of turns. Now, there are only two characters that can delete turns in the game, Zidane and a Metatilian. You can defeat this without bringing any of these two characters in your main party, but we're not going to get into that and want to keep going and focusing on this strategy. You can pause the orb by attacking with an attack that buffs your character or your party. So look for the self or party in the character skill that you're using, and as long as it says self, say attack up, max brave up, whatever it's giving to you or your party during that attack, then that will meet the orb requirement to increase the orb count by 1, essentially keeping the orb where it's at. Now, the way that I completed this is by using Zidane's turn deletion, which is something his LD ability gives him, because whenever Zidane breaks a target, it deletes their turn. Now, there are two guaranteed break moves that Zidane has. First, his LD will force break the target and turns Zidane's HP attack into an attack called Solution 9. Solution 9 also unbreaks the target before attacking, and you can hold on to the Solution 9 attack whenever you need it. You don't have to use it right away. So if you see the boss's turn kind of creeping up, then you have another automatic turn deletion move. Or let's say that the orb is counting down and it's getting very close, you could always use that Solution 9. So it's kind of something you might want to hold on to. So you have to use that, his LD, Zidane's LD and HP attack, Solution 9, whenever you actually really need it. With Zidane's turn deletion, I never have to worry about the orb in this match. And the main focus in my run is to remove the storm aura the boss puts around him, because as long as he has this aura, he is immune to delay, which Setzer does with his red card skill, and will not allow your characters to gain any brave. Now, brave gain, just to be clear, is different than getting brave from hitting the boss. Brave gain is when a character gains bravery without hitting the boss. So as long as the boss has this aura, Vaan literally does no damage. So to remove this aura, the boss's turn has to be deleted, which Zidane will do. I avoid taking HP damage from the boss's guaranteed HP dealing attacks that are triggered at 49 and 29% by inflicting a debuff called Power of the Void from my X-Death friend unit. This debuff will only last for 1 turn, but whenever the boss takes a forced turn, his debuffs count won't go down. And this will allow the X-Death debuff to stay on for the rest of the match, and not letting me take any HP damage. Lastly, the boss will have a stupid amount of defense when he reaches 29%. So saving Setzer's LD for the last 29% of the boss's health is crucial. So now let's get into the match. So here, starting off, I'm going to go ahead and use Zidane's EX to just go ahead and do a significant amount of damage, or a decent amount of damage, with his EX. Right here, as soon as I take damage, this should be the only time that I think I should be taking damage, which is the reason that I brought Rude to be able to heal. Now here, I use Zidane's S1, and I did break Pandemonium, but for some reason the aura didn't go away, although I did break him. So I gotta, I guess, break him again. Let me know in the comments, I guess, why his aura didn't go away if I had broken him. And technically, his turn should have been deleted. I think it was deleted, but anyway, we'll keep going here. So with Vaan, I'm going to use Vaan's LD to go ahead and start getting all the free skill uses. Setzer is just really here for damage output, and so I'm going to go ahead and use his AA alongside the Jack call. Now, all the calls that I use now, like Jack, I'm going to also use Kurosame, they should be lasting the entire match. Because I'm not going to be letting him take any more turns. So here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to heal all the way up so that way I meet the HP requirements. And then the other thing too is that if I take another hit for whatever reason, or you happen to take a hit, since your HP is so high, you can heal right back up with Root again. So here I'm going to go ahead and delete the turn with the LD, and as you can see, the aura did go away. Now that the aura went away, Vaan is going to start to be able to do some damage. The damage is coming soon. You gotta kind of like, you have to use his moves a few times in order for them to really power up. So here I use the red card to go ahead and delay the turn with Setzer, because now that the aura is gone, I can delay him. And at this point, it's just starting to deal damage and watching out for the C and B tornadoes. Now the tornadoes do go away after 15 consecutive turns. So keep an eye out for that. You might have to use a couple of your AAs to try to get rid of them. Do not let them attack. So here I use, I start off with White Whirl with Vaan to increase his Brave, and then I went into his S2, which is going to be what I'll mostly be using here, which is Red Spiral. And here you'll start seeing that Red Spiral is going to start to do more damage. At this point, now that I have Red Spiral up, doing more hits, that's where I'm going to start using the Dive Bomb from Setzer to start increasing the damage output of Zidane and Vaan, and Setzer as well. So here you start to see, there you go, 626,000 damage with Vaan. And now you'll see the aura come back because he's at 79%. Now that he's at 79%, I have to remove that aura right away, or else Vaan is not going to do any damage. So I go ahead and I use Zidane's LD to force break him, and then I'm just going to start using all his free abilities as much as I can, and just right here using Jack just to do some damage. Didn't use him in the beginning because not until all his stacks go to 5 is he going to do a good amount of damage. So right here I have to bring in X-Death right away. I'm going to go into his burst, but that's not the reason I really brought him. He does help with damage, but in order to inflict the Power of the Void, which is going to reduce any damage I take to 0, that's if he attacks, he needs to have 3 stacks of his debuff called Bud of Darkness. So his burst will inflict 1, as you can see on the top right corner, and then when I go ahead and use X-Death's second skill, which is going to be his LD right here, it's going to go up to 3. So by using his LD, it's going to make sure that he has at least 3 stacks of Bud of Darkness, and this is, I think, going to be the main key to not bringing any healers. Zidane, again, it's just deleting turns, using his skills, doing damage. There's really nothing else with Zidane except just making sure that you're deleting turns. Vaan is going to obviously dish out a lot of damage, another over 600k on damage with Vaan because the aura is not on the boss. You can see X-Death's burst is still doing a good amount of damage, but right here, right after Red Spiral, which is just doing so much damage, now I can go into the EX. If you go into his EX Ground Cross as soon as you bring him out, you're not going to inflict the Power of the Void, and so now you'll see right there, 1 turn, Power of the Void, and that's going to stay on there for the entire match. At this point, you're pretty much golden. You are good to go. The only thing to really worry about is going to be the 2 tornadoes attacking you, because if they attack you, they don't have the power of the void debuff. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to receive HP damage, and you're not going to be able to meet the orb requirements. This is why I'm keeping my summon, and this is why I'm keeping also the burst, I guess you can say, like in my back pocket. Only using them if C or B are going to attack, and you're going to see that their attacks come up fairly quickly, so I got to figure out how not to take any damage at this point from C and B, because it's a guaranteed HP damage. Now I'm going to go ahead and use Setzer's LD to put back the fixed dice buff on Vaan. Because as the fixed dice buff goes, every time that you use a skill, obviously the buff goes down, and the lower the number, the less chance you have of doing the rainbow damage. So I just want to get it up as much as possible. Just kind of bring it up, I guess, to like max stacks, I guess that's what we'll call it. And for here, I just got to make sure that I'm not letting C or B attack. So I'm gonna just go ahead and Odin summon here. And now that I put on the fixed dice buff on Vaan, he should be doing more damage here usually in the burst phases or in the summon phases, because his max brave also goes up. So right now it's just delaying the turn with Setzer and keeping up the fixed dice buff, but making sure that I keep enough fixed dice buffs or Setzer's LD for the very last quarter part of Pandemonium's life, because this defense, again, it's so high that I was having trouble dealing enough damage at the end. I could always get him to the last quarter part, but then it just from there went downhill, just because his defenses are so high. So here it's the first time I use Zidane. There's a lot of times that I should have I probably used Mug a little bit better, but when you use Mug, it's an instant turn. And right now Ace turn is coming up, as you can see. I mean, he's already at, what is it, 37%. I mean, you can dealing damage with Vaan and Setzer is not an issue whatsoever. So here is just making sure that C and B, again, do not take a turn. You'll see there that I'm going to just end up keeping Solution 9. I really don't need it right now. Now this part's going to be key right here. Now, if I could, there's a chance that I would probably have bursted earlier to guarantee more damage, because as he gets lower in HP, he's going to end up getting more defense, so you're going to do less burst damage. And I think with Vaan you can do up to like 3 million, close to 3 million on burst damage, as long as his defense is not like super high. And here you'll see Storm goes away, so it's about to come back at 29% though. So as long as I can avoid the two little tornadoes not inflicting any damage, I am literally golden. Now here I did go into the burst. I probably should have saved it, because it didn't really make a difference. Right here with this, the Sturm or whatever it is, that's where he starts gaining some defense. So I think that maybe I could have bursted. If I would do this again, I would have bursted earlier. I felt like maybe I really didn't need to save the burst so much, and I could have dealt more damage in the very beginning. Ultimately, I mean, it really didn't matter because of Setzer's LD buff, which still allows him to do a good amount of damage. So you go about 2 mil, not too bad for Vaan. Here again, since he did reach 29%, now he's going to go ahead and do his attack, but the power of the void debuff from Exdeath doesn't allow me to take any damage, if you're wondering why I'm not taking damage. I kept Rude's Crush Hammer up until this point, just in case I got hit. But now my main concern is to just take up as many turns as possible so that the two tornadoes do not get an attack, which is why I used Rude. Now I'm breaking as much as I can with Zidane, because when he breaks, not only does it delete the turn, but then he'll get also like an instant turn and things like that. Here you'll see that I just go ahead and let him attack, but again, because of that power of the void, now it's gone. Because that was not a forced turn, it is going to make his debuffs count down. But as you can see, at this point, I really don't care anymore because he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't attack anymore. With Zidane's move deletion and Setzer's delaying, I should be good to go. So Storm abated. Now his aura got broken, and now it's just making sure that the tornadoes, both C and B, do not take a turn. So I check to make sure that Zidane is going to have a turn back to back. He does. So at this point, it's going to start to, as you can see, he's not going to have any more turns, right? I go through each one of his skills and hold it down to see if he's going to have a follow-up turn. Since he's not, I'm going to just start doing AA, and just to make sure that I take up those 15 turns. Now, that's as much as I could do. Now with Vaan, I'm literally going to do the same thing here, but with Setzer. With Setzer, I end up using the boost stall. That was my 14th turn, so with Setzer, that makes it 15. Now the 2 tornadoes went away, and that's the key right there. If it wasn't for me, the AAs are not crucial until the end of the match, by the way. So I would definitely save all of your AAs to try to make the 2 tornadoes go away. If I would have let them attack and got hit, I would have to have restarted the whole match again, just because I didn't take those tornadoes away. Here, it's pretty much a guaranteed win now. I have enough fixed ice on everybody to deal enough damage to beat him, and that's it. So again, make sure you're saving your AA, your summons for the tornadoes, so that you do not let them take a turn. If you're not letting them take a turn, you're not dealing HP you're not getting HP damage. Then what that means is you don't need to bring healers in your party. And although Zidane's burst does heal, I acted like as if it didn't. So good luck if you guys are trying to complete it with the same team. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.